Howard Street, Baltimore, Saturday afternoon. A half century ago, the street would have been bustling with activity on a day like today, with patrons coming from far and wide to shop at Baltimore's great department stores. The magnificently ornate buildings that used to house these stores are still standing, although they have been shuttered for decades now. Instead, the two establishments doing the most business here in 2018 are Howard Discount Liquors and McDonald's. Almost everything else is closed. A few people are waiting for the light rail at the Lexington Market stop. Usually, public transit is supposed to stimulate economic activity, but somehow it seems to smother it here. Once they get downtown, light rail trains travel with traffic along Howard Street, slowing to a crawl as they stop at each and every red light along the way. Confined by the rules of the road, the light rail is essentially reduced to a glorified bus. Car travel is no easier. With trains taking up half the street, cars are limited to a single northbound lane with no parking. Light rail and car travel alike are extremely inefficient, severely limiting access to the few remaining businesses on Howard Street. This current traffic pattern is a disaster and is the first thing that must be addressed before redevelopment can begin. If given the opportunity, I would eliminate car travel entirely on North Howard Street between Baltimore Street and Martin Luther King Boulevard, a distance of about a mile. Cross streets would not be blocked, but Howard itself would be closed to all vehicles. Without cars in the way, the light rail could be optimized to move much more quickly through downtown. More importantly, the lower end of the street would be converted into a pedestrian walkway like in Curitiba, Brazil. With wider sidewalks and more green spaces, Howard Street might finally seem inviting again to the crowds that left so long ago. Of course, businesses would not return immediately, but they will never return anyway unless the venue is fundamentally transformed. Standing in the shadow of the old department store palaces, one is struck by a sense of tragic beauty. Like the traveler who stumbled on what was left of King Ozymandias, one can't help but imagine what Howard Street was like at its zenith and lament its current dilapidation. While the ravages of time have not yet ruined Howard Street with the totality of Ozymandias' kingdom, it will continue to decay as long as it is neglected. For generations, this was the commercial center of Baltimore. It's time to invest in the revitalization of one of the most culturally and historically significant areas of the city to create a vibrant, sustainable place to be enjoyed by generations to come.